In 2016, a bizarre post would appear on 4Chan's B, where an anonymous user uploads a series of seemingly random numbers. However, these numbers contained a hidden code, which led 4Chan to uncover the unsettling secrets of a potential serial killer. Unbeknownst to these users, this would be the beginning of one of the most disturbing internet mysteries of all time. One that would lead anonymous users down a dark rabbit hole of murders that go all the way back to the 1970s. And it would even bring one brave user who left the comfort of his home to mysterious coordinates in a remote area. This is the true and disturbing story of 4Chan's search for the Angler Killer. Our story begins May 19th, 2016. An anonymous user posts a string of numbers to 4Chan. Of course, most users just keep scrolling, but some decide to look deeper. So, one user puts the numbers into a hex converter. To their surprise, it outputs quotes from War of the Worlds, and also contains a hidden YouTube link. Going to the link brings the user to an obscure channel named Deeper, and with it, one video is waiting there. This video is posted to 4Chan, and because of its strange nature, users want to learn more. It seemed like in the video, the person filming is frantically running away from someone or something. Also, based on the video quality and VHS effects, users believed it was probably footage filmed years ago. That is, if it was not edited. The title string of numbers is input into a hex converter, and the user gets "secunti sunt," a Latin phrase that translates to "they followed." Soon after, 3 more videos would be uploaded: Around, Kolmis, and Bilsk. The first 2 showed videos of fans, but Bilsk was different. Users discover that the words in the video were from the song Poor You by Daniel Johnson. By using this, along with the video name, they were able to decode another Latin word, metum, meaning fear. Putting everything together gives us, they followed, around, stalk, fear. Users on 4Chan had no clue of what to make of this, but one thing was for sure, they wanted to know more. Within the day, more videos appeared. Just like the past ones, they all had cryptic titles, featuring seemingly unrelated bits of scenery, but upon closer look, they were hiding a dark secret. A number of these videos contained bizarre noises that didn't seem to fit the rest of the footage, like the video titled "Listen." One 4Chan user plugs the video into a spectrogram, and they discover something weird within the audio: the names of 2 women, Stephanie Bauman, and another numeric cipher, which translates to Darcy Anderson. But who exactly are these women? 4Chan decides to dig deeper. 1980. A girl named Stephanie Bauman is living in a group home in Centennial, Colorado. She eventually goes missing and is reported to be staying with various acquaintances. 2 weeks later, she was found lying in a ditch with no clothes on. She had succumbed to hypothermia. The case was never solved. 6 years later, 24-year-old Darcy Anderson wakes up early to get to her job at a bakery in Denver, Colorado. She never makes it there and is reported missing. Only a few days later, her body is found, shoved into the trunk of her own car. This case was never solved either. When 4Chan realized what they had found, things began to get serious. It's possible they could be dealing with the confessions of a real serial killer. So more users began to get involved. The 4Chan user, Bodie McBoatface, also made a Discord, and now Anons from around the globe have a central place to continue their investigations. Users begin digging into every possible clue, analyzing similar YouTube channels, combing through old case files, tracing the video's filming locations, and even matching the moon's phases to the nights of the disappearances. Because the channel had an anglerfish as its profile picture, along with another user finding a spectrogram of one hidden in a video, 4chan dubbed this anonymous individual behind the deeper channel as the Angler Killer. As users attempt to decode, more and more videos are uploaded, giving 4chan a plethora of clues to investigate. Throughout the next few hours, users uncover many other names of unfortunate people who have perished or disappeared mysteriously in Colorado from the late 1970s to the early 2000s, all of which were cold cases, with no killer found responsible. Though the details are scarce, users on 4chan bravely search for the truth. Multiple threads had popped up all over 4chan's paranormal board, and soon, more weird things started to happen. Users begin to consider that some of these videos could be the final resting places of the missing victims. This theory gets more traction as they discover sets of coordinates and video descriptions. One northeast of Colorado Springs in a field, and the other in Ute Valley Park. Judging from Google Maps, users believe these coordinates could have been the filming location of some of the videos taken outside, so one brave user who lives nearby decides to go on an adventure and scope out the coordinates to see if he could find anything out of place.
Some old bones. Who knows? Pete's box. I don't think that's part of the game. Beats box.
Unfortunately, the Anon isn't able to find anything besides what seems to be an animal bone. There was no disturbed earth or any landmark out of place. However, users on 4chan were able to confirm that this was in fact the field where some of the videos were filmed, so the angler was out there at one point in time. And if he really was a killer, there were probably remains hidden out there somewhere. Strange coded messages are soon posted to the thread, which made users believe it could have been from the angler. Because of this, many suspected that the killer was actively monitoring the threads, and even lurking in the Discord. This would eventually be proven to be true when users are unable to solve the meaning of a specific video's title. 4chan believed the first word to be Mary, but the second didn't seem to have a solution. Because of this, the angler updated the channel description, containing yet another hex code, which translated to, "There is no Mary, look closer." With the angler monitoring their every move, users cannot be sure who to trust. But nonetheless, after users see this, they examine the video further, and hiding behind the audio is their clue. Based on this, users were able to reach the number 70, which they used to decode the title. And finally, they found their answer. Sus Venir, which translates to, "It's coming." The Angler Killer posts once again. The title is Mortem, which translates to death. Many users believe this is very fitting, since they had just witnessed a possible dead body. At this point in the search, the videos are starting to appear on YouTube's homepage, and random viewers begin to stumble upon them. Some are deathly afraid, while others take comfort in the comments in an attempt to help solve. More videos are posted of various locations and objects, and 4chan solves most of them, but only a few hours later, the angler posts once again. Users were absolutely terrified and hoped that it was all just an elaborate prank. But even after this, 4chan was not able to confirm whether it was a fake or not. There just wasn't enough information. The channel would then begin to slow down, and this is the last thing he posted. Because of the video name, Relapse, users began to worry that the angler was going to kill again. Also, based on the last frame of the video, which showed someone handcuffed, it seemed like he had already found his victim. But at this point, the angler had gone dark, and there was nothing 4chan could do to save this person. 4chan contains some of the most talented hackers known to mankind, and their skills literally give them superpowers in the online world. However, in order to be able to complete extraordinary hacks, you have to start somewhere. The best way to learn is with TryHackMe. It's a free-to-use, completely browser-based platform with instant access to real-world cases. Each challenge is modeled after authentic attacks and defenses, and it's all done in a way that feels like a video game. The first challenge literally had me hacking into a fake bank, but that's not it. There are hundreds of hacking simulations to try, spanning across all difficulties. So if you've ever wanted to understand how users are able to pull off these insane hacks, please join over 6 million people worldwide on TryHackMe.com. And if you decide to upgrade your free version to further your hacking skills, use code Pezle25 for 25% off the annual plan. Thank you so much, TryHackMe, for sponsoring today's video. After nearly 4 months of silence, the angler is back, and this time, he isn't messing around. Users on 4chan notice that if the barrels actually have sulfuric acid in them, the only way they got the darkish color is if something organic was being dissolved. They were even able to decode the title using a base 64 decoder, giving the text, "Wonderful." But of course, even after analyzing the entire video, there was nothing they could use to help them identify the angler. Over the next few months and even years, the angler continued to upload cryptic videos containing more hidden messages. Users from 4chan would create threads during the uploads, but the search would really quiet down in between. However, throughout this time, there were some pretty interesting developments. They collected more names of victims from cold cases, like from Actalasa, which once again had a spectrogram message connecting to the disappearance of Maria Abatiello Smith, who was found buried in a field next to the street. Users also had more locations to analyze, based on many of the videos the angler released of outdoor areas. A few didn't even have the VHS effects. The angler continues to upload videos, but now very sparingly. Interestingly, there is an hour and 20-minute live stream, which repeats code words that translate to receive. They were able to use this code word to get into a password-protected file, which was discovered by another user. The file led to an image, where they got the clue, invitation. But like many of the other clues they thought they solved in the past, it didn't lead anywhere else. The angler also references the hymn to Satan, a prayer song of the unholy church. However, one of the most uninteresting videos seemed to be the most important. It simply showed a dark screen with various beeping. After days of brute forcing, users found out it was another link, which led to an image of a target. From this, they were able to recover the phrase "gave birth to," but users looked deeper and found that there was yet another message hidden in the audio, which eventually led to this image. Users had a feeling that the street was familiar, and they were actually able to find a video which takes place in the same spot where the woman was standing. However, no matter how hard they looked for the street, no one was able to find the exact location. Soon after, the YouTuber Some Ordinary Gamers would post a video about 4chan's search for the angler, which brought a massive newfound interest in the mystery. Although, something unexpected would occur. Literally the next day, the angler would post a jumble of static and faint images, and behind the audio was the word "rebirth," which eventually revealed a link. The image contained an announcement explaining that one of their mutual friends had passed away very suddenly, and despite having a massive collection of material left to publish, they didn't want to release it all. The channel owner then left an encoded community post, giving us the message: "To reassure you all, this is not the end. This death signifies a rebirth, and this is only a new beginning." And that is the last time the internet would ever hear from the angler again. Putting all of the findings together gives us seemingly random words and phrases, which no one has been able to make sense of. However, there may be many clues out there that are still, to this day, unsolved. That's not even to mention the videos that were removed by YouTube and are now lost in time. However, one user named Pancheroni found something that would change the mystery forever. In 2022, a sheriff's office in Colorado received a call from a frantic woman who believed that her husband, Joel Hollendorfer, was responsible for a disappearance in 2012. The police investigated, eventually found a body, and Joel was sentenced to 24 years in prison. The girl in question was Kara Nichols, who was actually one of the names that was found in a spectrogram from the angler. Users initially believed the angler could be Joel, but because his age was 46 at the time of his arrest, he would have been far too young to be responsible for the cold cases all those years ago. After this finding, the consensus was that the whole thing is just an elaborate ARG, and because of this, the mystery had finally been solved, closing the book on the angler killer. Before we end the video, I will say we still don't know who is behind the channel and why they did it. The whole thing just seems off, and I still have so many questions. Just because one of the names they found was solved doesn't necessarily mean the angler didn't commit any of the murders. Not to mention, there seem to be multiple people behind the channel, and many of the clues still remain unsolved. But to top it off, no one has dared to dig around at the coordinates. Of course, this is most likely an elaborate ARG, but until more information is uncovered, we may never know the truth with absolute certainty. Thanks again to our sponsor, TryHackMe. Don't forget to use code Pezle25 for 25% off the annual plan.